Buckle up, MMA Zone family, because the world just stopped spinning. We've been waiting for this moment since that chaotic night in Las Vegas years ago, and it's finally, officially happening. The rumors are dead, the contracts are signed, and the most anticipated grudge match in the history of the sport is set in stone. It's McGregor, it's Makhachev, and it's for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. We've seen some massive fights in our time, but this one hits different. It's not just about a belt anymore. It's about a decade of bad blood, family honor, and a rivalry that nearly burned the entire UFC to the ground. Dana White didn't just hint at it during the presser. He went off and confirmed that the Notorious One is officially returning to the octagon to face the man who inherited Khabib Nurmagomedov's throne. You can feel the tension in the air already, can't you? We've been tracking the training footage, we've been listening to the whispers in the gyms, and now that it's real, the entire landscape of the UFC has been flipped on its head. This isn't just a comeback, it's Conor McGregor's final stand against the Dagestani dynasty that's dominated the division since he left. And while the world is celebrating the return of the Mac, there's a massive storm brewing in the legal department because Dillon Danis just shot himself in the foot in the most spectacular way possible. We've got the inside scoop on a massive lawsuit Danis is slapping on the UFC, and let's just say, it's not looking good for the king of Twitter trolls. But let's talk about the main event first, because we need to break down how we got here. Islam Makhachev has been looking like an absolute machine, hasn't he? He's been running through the best the world has to offer, proving that he's not just Khabib's protege, he's his own monster. But Conor's been away. He's been recovering, he's been filming movies, and he's been getting absolutely massive. We've seen the photos. The guy looks like he's been eating nothing but raw steak and lifting heavy. People said he was finished. They said the leg break was the end of the road. But Conor fired back at every single critic, and now he's got the chance to do the unthinkable. If he beats Islam, he doesn't just become a three-time champion, he kills the ghost of UFC 229 once and for all. The atmosphere in the SBG Ireland camp is reportedly electric. We're hearing that Conor has gone back to his roots. No more yacht parties, no more distractions. He's locked in a dark room with his coaches, sharpening that left hand that put Jose Aldo to sleep in 13 seconds. But Islam isn't Aldo. Islam is a grinder. He's the guy who takes your soul in the first round and makes you wish you never signed the contract. When Islam heard the news, he didn't just stay quiet. He went off on social media, claiming that Conor is the easiest payday in the history of the lightweight division. He's clearly not intimidated by the hype. And honestly, why should he be? He's the champ for a reason. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room. The history between these two camps is ugly. We're talking about a rivalry that involved bus attacks, cage-side brawls, and insults that crossed every line imaginable. We thought it was over when Khabib retired, but it's clear that the fire never went out. It's just been smoldering. By making this fight official, the UFC is playing with fire. But let's be real, we're all going to be watching. This is the kind of fight that defines an era. Is the Dagestani wrestling style truly unbeatable? Or does the most famous striker in the history of the sport still have one more miracle left in those gloves? We've been debating this in the office all day, and it feels like the world is split right down the middle. But while the McGregor camp is celebrating, his longtime teammate Dillon Danis is heading into a different kind of cage, a courtroom. We've just received word that Danis has officially filed a massive lawsuit against the UFC, and it's sending shockwaves through the industry. We knew things were tense between Danis and the promotion, but we didn't think it would come to this. Apparently, Danis is claiming that the UFC has been blackballing him and sabotaging his career prospects outside of the octagon. He's alleging that the promotion used predatory contract tactics to keep him from signing lucrative deals elsewhere, all while refusing to give him a fight date. It's a bold move, but many insiders think he just shot himself in the foot. You don't sue the boss and expect to get a warm welcome back, right? Dana White has axed fighters for way less than this. We've seen what happens when you cross the brass. You end up on the outside looking in. Danis has always been a polarizing figure, but this lawsuit might be the final nail in the coffin for his professional MMA career. He's spent more time on Twitter than on the mats lately, and this legal battle is going to take years to resolve. We have to wonder, what was he thinking? Did he really think he could take on a multi-billion-dollar empire and come out on top? The details of the lawsuit are pretty wild. Danis's legal team is going after the UFC's exclusive clauses, arguing that they're a violation of independent contract laws. If he wins, it could change the way every fighter in the promotion does business. But that's a big if.
In the meantime, he's effectively nuked his relationship with the only platform that could have made him a superstar. It's a classic case of a fighter thinking they're bigger than the game. We've seen it before, and it rarely ends well. While his buddy Conor is preparing for the biggest fight of his life, Danis is going to be buried in paperwork and legal fees. Back to the fight that actually matters. The betting lines are already shifting. Vegas has Islam as a massive favorite, and we can't say we're surprised. The way Islam dismantled Charles Oliveira and Volkanovski showed us that he's on another level. But we've learned one thing over the years. You never, ever count out Conor McGregor. He thrives when his back is against the wall. He loves being the underdog. When everyone says he can't do it, that's when he's the most dangerous. He's been posting clips of his wrestling defense, showing us that he's prepared for the takedown attempts that are inevitably coming his way. He's not just training to survive, he's training to dominate. We're also hearing that Khabib Nurmagomedov might actually return to Islam's corner for this one. Can you imagine the scenes? Khabib and Conor in the same arena again? The security is going to have to be tighter than it's ever been. The UFC is banking on the fact that this drama sells, and they're right. We're already hooked. This isn't just a sporting event, it's a cultural moment. It's the return of the king versus the reign of the machine. As we get closer to the date, the trash talk is only going to get louder. Conor has already started taking shots at Islam's chin, while Islam has been mocking Conor's cardio. It's the same old dance, but the stakes have never been higher. This is for the 155-pound gold, but more importantly, it's for the right to say who the real king of the division is. If Conor wins, it's the greatest comeback in sports history. If Islam wins, he cements his legacy as an all-time great and finally puts the McGregor era to bed. We want to hear from you guys. Who are you picking? Does Conor have the power to pull off the upset, or is Islam just too strong, too disciplined, and too hungry? And what do you think about the Dillon Danis lawsuit? Did he make a smart move for fighter rights, or did he just end his career for a headline? The MMA world is moving fast, and we're here to keep you in the loop. It's going to be a wild ride to fight night, and we're just getting started. Don't blink, because this is the UFC, and anything can happen.
Look, we all knew things were getting crazy, but nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming today. The UFC has just dropped a nuclear bomb on the lightweight division, and it sent shockwaves through the entire MMA community. It's official. The fight that we thought was a total pipe dream is actually happening. Conor McGregor is stepping back into the octagon, and he's not just fighting anyone. He's fighting the pound-for-pound king, Islam Makhachev, for the undisputed title. It's the ultimate sequel to the biggest rivalry in combat sports history, and the stakes have never been higher for the notorious one. Dana White went off in a late-night presser, and you could tell he was fired back by all the skeptics who said Conor was washed or that he'd never make the walk again. He didn't just announce the fight, he threw the entire script out the window. This isn't just about a gold belt anymore. It's about the legacy of two empires clashing once again. But before we get into the tactical nightmare that Islam brings to the table, we've got to talk about the absolute legal circus surrounding McGregor's longtime friend and training partner, Dillon Danis. Buckle up, because the news coming out of the Danis camp is insane. Reports are surfacing that Dillon has just filed a massive, multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the UFC. He's claiming he was blacklisted and that the promotion intentionally axed his career opportunities to spite McGregor during their various contract disputes. Honestly, it feels like Dillon just shot himself in the foot here, again. We've seen him talk his way out of every major promotion, from Bellator to the influencer boxing scene, and now he's trying to take on the biggest machine in the world in a courtroom. He's alleging that the UFC pressured other organizations not to sign him and that they sabotaged his big pharma sponsorship deals. It's a bold move, or maybe just a desperate one, and the details coming out about the alleged shadow banning of his name from UFC broadcasts are making us all scratch our heads. But let's get back to the main event, because the real headline that's got everyone's hair standing on end is the message that Khabib Nurmagomedov just sent directly to Conor. The Eagle doesn't speak often these days, especially not about the fight game, since he's been so focused on his coaching and his family. But when he does, the world stops. Khabib didn't just give a standard prediction for his protege Islam, he delivered a chilling warning that's gone viral in minutes. He looked straight into the camera and told Conor that Islam isn't just a fighter, he's a punishment. He said, "Islam will finish what I started, and this time there is no cage to jump over. There is only the deep ocean, and you cannot swim." It's cold, it's calculated, and it's exactly the kind of psychological warfare we expected from the Dagestani camp. Khabib's message implies that Islam is going to do more than just win. He's going to dismantle the McGregor brand piece by piece. We've seen Conor fired back on social media already, posting and deleting those infamous voice notes, but you can feel the tension is different this time. He's not just facing a wrestler, he's facing the evolution of the man who broke him back in 2018. We've been watching the training footage coming out of SBG Ireland, and Conor looks lean, he looks fast, but is he ready for that relentless pressure? Islam Makhachev isn't the same guy who was Khabib's little brother years ago. He's a monster who just took down Volk and Dustin Poirier. He's clinical, he's a sniper with his striking, and a boa constrictor on the ground. When Khabib says Islam will finish the job, he's talking about the total eclipse of the McGregor era. It's chilling because we know Khabib doesn't lie. He doesn't do hype for the sake of pay-per-view buys. If he says it's going to be a long night of suffering, he genuinely believes he's seen the future. Now, let's look at why this is happening now. Dana White has been under a lot of pressure to deliver a massive end-of-year card. And let's be real, nothing moves the needle like Conor. But putting him straight into a title fight against Islam? That's a death wish or a stroke of genius. Some fans are saying Conor shot himself in the foot by skipping the Chandler fight for so long, because now he's jumping into the deepest end of the pool without a life jacket. If Conor loses this, it's not just a loss, it's the end of the greatest era we've ever seen. He'll have nowhere left to go. But if he wins, if he pulls off the impossible and knocks out the man Khabib says is unbeatable, then we're looking at the greatest comeback in the history of sports, period. We also have to consider the Dillon Danis factor in all of this. With this lawsuit hanging over the UFC's head, things are going to get messy behind the scenes. Will the UFC even allow Danis in the building for the fight? Usually they'd have axed his credentials by now, but since he's so tied to Conor's camp, it creates a massive security headache for the promotion. Imagine the scenes at the weigh-ins if Danis shows up with legal papers while Khabib is standing in Islam's corner. It's a powder keg waiting to explode. The UFC world is divided right now. Half of us think Conor is being served up as a sacrificial lamb to cement Islam's legacy, while the other half of us are waiting for that one left hand to land and shock the world. But you can't ignore the tone of Khabib's voice. He sounded like a man who was speaking a prophecy into existence. He didn't look angry, he looked pitying. And that's what's really got us worried for Conor. Usually McGregor thrives when he can get under his opponent's skin, but Islam is like a stone wall. He doesn't react. He doesn't care about the boats or the watches or the proper 12. He only cares about the smash. We've heard whispers that Conor's camp has been bringing in world-class Samba specialists from all over Eastern Europe to try and replicate Islam's style, but you can't replicate that Dagestani chain wrestling in a 3-month camp. It's a lifetime of work. Khabib's message was a reminder of that. He basically told us that you can't buy the kind of grit Islam has. You can't train for it in a luxury gym in Dubai. As we get closer to the date, the intensity is only going to ramp up. The press conferences are going to be legendary, the stare-downs are going to be electric, and the lawsuit drama with Danis is going to provide a weird, litigious backdrop to the whole thing. But at the end of the day, when the octagon door closes, it's just Conor and Islam. It's the ghost of 229 versus the reality of 2024. Dana White told us to expect the unexpected, and boy, did he deliver. We're going to be tracking every single update on this, from the court filings in the Danis case to the secret sparring sessions in Makhachev. This isn't just a fight, it's the final chapter of a decade-long war. Khabib's chilling message has set the tone, and now the ball is in Conor's court. He either rises to the occasion or he gets buried by the legacy he helped create. It's time to see if the Mac is truly back or if the eagle's shadow is too big to escape.
Stop everything you're doing right now, because the MMA world just tilted on its axis, and we're all just trying to keep our balance. We've been waiting for years. We've sat through the leg breaks, the deleted Twitter rants, the yacht parties, and the endless I'm back teases that never led anywhere. But today is different. Today, it's real. We've just gotten the word that Conor McGregor isn't just coming back. He's coming back for the throne. It's official. It's Conor McGregor versus Islam Makhachev for the lightweight championship of the world. This isn't a drill, and honestly, we're still shaking. Let's look at the gravity of the situation for a second. We all thought the Michael Chandler fight was the move. We thought the UFC was going to give Conor a tune-up fight to see if that leg could still handle the pressure. But Conor, he didn't want a tune-up. He went off on the matchmakers and demanded the biggest shark in the ocean. He skipped the line, he's jumped the queue, and he stared down the man who's been holding the mantle for the Dagestani dynasty. This isn't just a fight, it's a war for the legacy of the entire sport. Islam Makhachev didn't hold back either. He fired back immediately, saying he's going to finish what Khabib started back in 2018. The bad blood here isn't just simmering, it's boiling over. We're talking about years of built-up resentment between SBG Ireland and the team in Dagestan. When the news broke, the internet basically exploded. We've seen the training footage of Conor looking massive, and we've seen Islam looking absolutely invincible. It's the ultimate clash of styles. The precision of the Mac versus the suffocating pressure of Islam. Can Conor's left hand find the chin before Islam drags him into the deep water? We don't know, but we can't wait to find out. Dana White looks like he's just won the lottery, and honestly, he probably has. This is tracking to be the biggest pay-per-view in the history of the company, and it's not even close. But while one superstar is preparing for the biggest night of his life, another one just decided to burn every bridge he ever built. We have to talk about Dillon Danis. We all know Dillon. He's the guy we love to hate, the king of trolling, the man who's made a career out of being Conor's shadow. Well, he's finally done it. He's shot himself in the foot so hard he might never walk back into a major promotion again. We've just uncovered the details of a massive lawsuit Dillon Danis has filed against the UFC and Dana White personally. It's wild. We're talking about allegations of breach of contract, bad faith negotiations, and Dillon claiming he was promised a main card slot that was never delivered. He's claiming the UFC blackballed him from competing elsewhere while keeping him on ice. But here's the kicker. Dana White didn't just ignore it. He went off. We're hearing that the UFC's legal team has already moved to have the whole thing axed, and they're not playing nice. They've basically pulled the rug out from under him. By filing this suit, Dillon didn't just bite the hand that feeds, he tried to cut the whole arm off. We've seen fighters try to sue the UFC before. It's a mountain that nobody successfully climbs. He's effectively banned himself for life. No more UFC, no more major paydays, and honestly, we don't see a way back for him. He thought he was playing 4D chess, but he just checked himself out of the game. It's a sad end for a guy who actually had some talent once upon a time, but he chose the courtroom over the cage, and the UFC doesn't lose in court. And speaking of people who don't know when to quit, we have to talk about the man, the myth, the absolute menace, Sean Strickland. You've probably seen the clip by now, because it's everywhere. Sean's been doing his usual thing, inviting people to his gym to spar, and then treating it like a fight to the death. But this time, it wasn't a pro fighter. It was a streamer, a guy who probably spends more time behind a keyboard than a heavy bag. We watched the footage, and let's be real, it was uncomfortable. This streamer thought he was going to get some cool content with the former champ. He thought he'd move around, maybe land a jab, and have a funny story to tell his fans. He didn't realize that Sean Strickland doesn't have a light setting. Sean just went off. He didn't just spar the kid, he liquidated him. We're talking full power hooks, head kicks, and zero mercy. The kid was stumbling all over the mat, and Sean just kept coming. He eventually caught him with a shot that put the poor guy's lights out. Now, the MMA community is split down the middle on this one. Half of us are saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You don't walk into a den with a wolf and expect not to get bitten. But the other half of us, we're looking at this and thinking it's a bad look for the sport. It's ego sparring at its worst. Sean's a professional assassin. He doesn't need to prove he can KO a guy who doesn't know how to tuck his chin. But that's Sean for you. He's unfiltered, he's dangerous, and he simply doesn't care about the optics. He fired back at the critics on Instagram, basically telling everyone that if you step on his mat, you're fair game. He's not there to play tag. He's there to hurt people. It's that old school doghouse mentality that most gyms have moved away from, but Sean is keeping it alive and well in Las Vegas. It's been a week of absolute madness, guys. We've got the biggest fight in history on the horizon with McGregor and Islam. We've got Dillon Danis potentially ending his career in a courtroom. And we've got Sean Strickland doing Sean Strickland things and reminding everyone why he's the most polarizing man in the UFC. The energy in the sport right now is through the roof. We're seeing legends return, legacies being challenged, and the Wild West era of gym culture making a comeback. We're going to be tracking every single update on the McGregor-Islam champ. We want to know the weight, the location, and every word that comes out of their mouths. This is the one we've been waiting for. This is the fight that defines an era. Don't blink, because the UFC is moving faster than ever, and we're right here in the middle of it all. It's a crazy time to be a fan, and honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. Stick with us, because this story is just getting started, and the fallout from these lawsuits and gym wars is going to be felt for a long time. It's chaos, and we love it.
Buckle up and grab a seat, because we aren't just looking at another fight week. we're looking at the single biggest announcement in the history of this sport. We've been hearing the whispers for months, we've seen the cryptic tweets, and we've watched the tension boil over in every corner of the internet. But it's finally happened. Dana White didn't just drop a hint, he dropped a nuclear bomb on the MMA world. It's official, the Mac is back, and he isn't coming for a tune-up. Conor McGregor is stepping back into the octagon to challenge the pound-for-pound king, Islam Makhachev, for the UFC Lightweight Championship. We've seen some massive fights in our time, but this is different. This isn't just a title fight, it's the ultimate grudge match, a direct sequel to the most bitter rivalry we've ever seen in combat sports. It's the return of the McGregor era against the suffocating dominance of the Dagestani dynasty. Islam didn't waste any time once the papers were signed. He immediately went off on social media, telling Conor to bring his wrestling shoes. And honestly, we can't blame him for the confidence. Islam's been looking untouchable, but Conor isn't staying silent. The Irishman fired back within minutes, posting a video of himself looking absolutely massive, claiming he's going to decapitate the king and bring the belt back to Dublin. The energy is electric, and the betting lines are already going haywire. Half of us think Conor's just walking into a trap, while the other half believes he's still got that one-shot touch that changed the world. This isn't just a fight, it's a collision of worlds that's going to shatter every pay-per-view record in the books. But while the world is celebrating the return of the king, things are getting incredibly ugly behind the scenes for one of Conor's closest allies. We've been following the drama surrounding Dillon Danis for years, but this latest development, it's a complete game changer. We've just seen the documents, and it's confirmed. Dillon Danis is officially filing a massive multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the UFC. He isn't just complaining about his pay, he's going for the jugular. Danis is claiming the promotion has systematically blackballed him, intentionally sabotaging his career and blocking him from lucrative sponsorships outside the cage. He's going off about predatory contracts and claiming the UFC treated him like a pawn to get to Conor. It's a bold move, but let's be real. Most experts think he's completely shot himself in the foot with this one. You don't just sue the biggest machine in the world and expect to walk away clean. We've seen fighters try to take on the brass before, and it rarely ends well. The legal papers mention restraint of trade and emotional distress, but the UFC's legal team is already firing back, calling the lawsuit frivolous and desperate. It's a messy, nasty situation that's likely to get even worse before it gets better. Whether you love him or hate him, Danis has always been a lightning rod for controversy, but this time, he might have finally bitten off more than he can chew. We're watching a bridge burn in real time, and it's going to have massive ripples across the entire industry. And if that wasn't enough drama for one day, we've got some heartbreaking news for the hardcore fans out there. The UFC is officially in the middle of a massive roster purge, and we've just learned that a legendary ranked veteran has been axed from the organization. It's a move that sent shockwaves through the community, because honestly, we didn't see this one coming. We're talking about a guy who's been a staple of the rankings for years, a guy who's fought the absolute best in the world and has never turned down a challenge. But in the TKO era, the leash is shorter than ever. One bad loss, one dip in performance, and you're gone. The promotion didn't even give him a farewell fight, they just cut the cord and let him go. It's a cold-blooded reminder that this sport doesn't have a safety net. Fans are already erupting on Twitter, calling the move disrespectful to a pioneer of the game. We've seen these purges before, but this one feels different. It feels like the end of an era. The veteran in question hasn't made a public statement yet, but his management team is reportedly blindsided by the decision. It just goes to show you, doesn't matter how many wars you've been in or how many times you've saved a card, if you aren't a contender for the belt, you're on the chopping block. Now, let's circle back to the main event, because we need to talk about the tactical nightmare this fight presents. We know Islam's game plan. It's the Dagestani handcuffs. He wants to put Conor against the fence, drain his gas tank, and make it a miserable night. We've seen him do it to everyone from Charles Oliveira to Dustin Poirier. But Conor, he's the wild card. He's been training in seclusion, away from the cameras, and the whispers from his camp are that he's faster than he's been in 5 years. If he can keep it standing for even 3 minutes, we might see the upset of the century. The trash talk is only going to get nastier from here. Islam's been calling Conor the easiest paycheck in the division, and Conor's been posting photos of Islam's face on a punching bag. This isn't just about a gold belt anymore, it's about legacy. It's about whether the old guard can still stand up to the new breed of dominant wrestlers. We're already hearing that the press conference is going to be high security because the bad blood between these two camps is legit. It's not just show business, it's personal. Remember what happened after the Khabib fight? The cage-side brawls, the arrests, the absolute chaos? We're looking at that same level of intensity, if not higher. We've got a long road to the actual fight night, but the hype train has officially left the station, and there's no stopping it now.
We're going to be tracking every training clip, every deleted tweet, and every legal update on the Danis situation right here. This is the year that changes everything for the UFC. We've got the biggest star in history fighting for his life, a lawsuit that could change how contracts are written, and a roster purge that's leaving legends in the dust. It's a wild time to be a fan, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Stick with us as we dive deeper into the contracts, the camps, and the fallout from this insane news cycle. It's going to be a bumpy ride, and we're just getting started.
We've been waiting for a bomb to drop, but we didn't expect a nuclear warhead to hit the MMA world this morning. Buckle up, because the landscape of the UFC just changed forever. We're talking about the fight that shouldn't have been possible, the fight that's been brewing in the shadows of Dagestan and Dublin for years. It's official. Conor McGregor is returning to the octagon, and he's not just coming back for a tune-up. He's stepping straight into the lion's den against the pound-for-pound king, Islam Makhachev. This isn't just a title fight, it's a revenge mission for the entire McMansion. We've seen the rumors, we've seen the deleted tweets, but Dana White just blew the roof off the building. He didn't just announce a comeback, he confirmed that the paperwork is signed and the lightweight title is on the line. This is the ultimate legacy play. If Conor wins, he's the first three-division champ in history. If Islam wins, he puts the final nail in the coffin of the McGregor era. We know Islam's been dominant, but Conor's been looking absolutely massive in his recent training clips. He's not the skinny featherweight we used to know, he's a tank. But is he a tank that can stop a Dagestani wrestler? That's the question that's going to keep us up until fight night. Islam already fired back on Instagram, basically saying he's going to do what Khabib did, but worse. He didn't just call him out, he promised to end his career for good. But while we're all processing that absolute madness, we've got a legal storm brewing that could shake the very foundations of the UFC's business model. Dillon Danis has finally done it. He's gone nuclear. We've known Dillon as the guy who trolls everyone on the internet, the guy who gets kicked out of arenas, and the guy who seemingly couldn't get a fight if his life depended on it. But now, it turns out he wasn't just sitting idle. A massive lawsuit has been revealed, and Dillon is suing the UFC for millions. He's claiming he was blackballed, that his contracts were predatory, and that the promotion intentionally stifled his earning potential to protect their own interests. Dillon really shot himself in the foot with his antics over the years, but this lawsuit, it's detailed, it's messy, and it's personal. He's alleging that he was promised big money fights that were pulled at the last second, and that the UFC's restrictive clauses prevented him from making a dime anywhere else. It's a bold move considering he hasn't exactly been a model employee for, well, anyone. We've seen fighters complain about pay before, but Danis is going for the jugular. He's not just asking for a release, he's trying to tear down the whole structure. If this thing actually goes to discovery, we could see some internal UFC emails that Dana definitely doesn't want the public to see. He's essentially declared war on the biggest powerhouse in sports, and honestly, we're not sure if he realizes how hard they're going to hit back. And just when we thought the news cycle couldn't get any more chaotic, the GOAT himself decided to drop a cryptic bombshell. Jon Jones just hinted at a sudden retirement, and the timing couldn't be worse for the heavyweight division. We've been hearing for months that the Stipe Miocic fight was going to be a swan song, but it feels different this time. Jones went off on a social media tear last night, basically saying he's done everything there is to do and that the new generation isn't worth his time. It feels like he's trying to dodge the Tom Aspinall conversation, doesn't it? Aspinall has been breathing down his neck, calling him out at every turn, and instead of leaning into the challenge, Jones seems to be looking for the exit door. We've seen this movie before with Jon, but this time it feels like the credits are actually about to roll. He's already axed the idea of fighting anyone other than Stipe, and now he's suggesting he might not even make it to that fight if the terms aren't exactly what he wants. He's earned his place at the top, no doubt, but walking away now, it would leave a massive void. The fans are already turning on him, saying he's running from the interim champ, and honestly, we can't blame them for being frustrated. We want to see the best fight the best, but Jones seems more interested in protecting his O than proving he can handle the new breed of heavyweights. If he retires now, he's leaving the belt in limbo and a whole lot of questions unanswered. He's the greatest to ever do it, but is this how he wants to be remembered? As the guy who wouldn't give the young lion a shot? We're looking at a complete overhaul of the sport in the span of 24 hours. You've got the biggest star in history returning for a grudge match that feels like a movie script. You've got a former friend of the camp in Dillon Danis trying to burn the whole house down with a lawsuit. And you've got the pound-for-pound king of all time threatening to pack his bags and go home before he has to face the music. It's a lot to take in, guys. The UFC is a circus, but right now the tents are on fire, and we're just trying to keep up with the score. What do you guys think? Is Conor actually ready for Islam, or is he just looking for one last massive payday before he sails off on his yacht? And does Dillon Danis actually have a leg to stand on in court, or is this just another desperate attempt to stay relevant? We're skeptical, but in this business, you never say never. And as for Jon Jones, man, we just want to see him fight. If he walks away now, it's a tragedy for the sport. He's got so much left in the tank, but it feels like his head's already out the door. We're going to be tracking every single one of these stories as they develop, because believe us, this is just the beginning of the fallout. The UFC is moving fast, and we're here to make sure you don't miss a single hit.
Stick with us, because this week is going to be one for the history books. It's absolute chaos, it's beautiful, and it's why we love this sport. Let's see who's left standing when the dust finally settles.
The MMA world just tilted on its axis, and we are still trying to catch our breath, because what we just witnessed is the kind of news that changes the sport forever. It's official. We aren't dreaming. The Mac is back. But he isn't just coming back for a tune-up or a fun fight. Conor McGregor is stepping straight into the fire against the pound-for-pound king, Islam Makhachev, for the lightweight championship of the world. But that's not even the only bombshell dropping today, because while the biggest star in the world is making his move, his former teammate, Dillon Danis, is burning every bridge left standing. We've got the exclusive details on a massive lawsuit Danis just slapped on the UFC, and let's just say, he might have just shot himself in the foot for good this time. Plus, we've got Daniel Cormier weighing in, and he didn't pull any punches. He went off on why this fight is a disaster for Conor, claiming the Irishman has absolutely no chance. Let's dive into this McGregor news first, because it's absolutely insane. We've been hearing whispers for months. We saw the training footage. We saw the tweets that he'd eventually delete. But nobody actually thought Dana White would pull the trigger on this. It's official, folks. McGregor versus Makhachev is headlining for the biggest card of the year. It's the ultimate legacy fight. For Islam, it's the chance to finally put the McGregor era to bed and finish what his mentor, Khabib Nurmagomedov, started years ago. For Conor, it's the ultimate told you so. If he wins this, he's not just a legend, he's the greatest to ever do it. But the fans are split right down the middle on this one. Half of us are hyped beyond belief. The other half, we're worried this might be the last time we ever see Conor in the octagon if things go south. But wait, before we get too deep into the X's and O's of that fight, we have to talk about the chaos happening behind the scenes with Dillon Danis. We all knew Dillon was a loose cannon. We've seen the trolling, we saw the Misfits boxing drama, but he just took it to a level that nobody saw coming. We just got word that Danis has officially filed a massive lawsuit against the UFC and Dana White personally. It sounds like he's claiming he was blackballed from the industry and that the UFC blocked him from multiple lucrative opportunities while he was still under his previous contracts. He's firing back at the promotion for what he calls predatory tactics. Honestly, it feels like he's trying to scorch earth his way out of the sport. We've seen fighters complain about pay before, we've seen them moan about contracts, but a full-blown lawsuit of this magnitude? It's unprecedented for someone who hasn't even fought in the octagon. Most insiders are saying he just axed any hope he ever had of getting that UFC call-up. He's essentially shot himself in the foot if he ever wanted to be taken seriously as a top-tier mixed martial artist again. You don't sue the boss and then expect him to hand you a contract and a main event slot. It just doesn't work that way. Now, let's get back to the main event, because the reaction from the pro community is pouring in, and nobody's take is louder than Daniel Cormier's. DC didn't just give a standard analysis, he went off on his YouTube channel and basically told the world we're about to witness a sanctioned hit. DC's words were cold. He said Conor has no chance, not a lick, not a prayer. It's a bold statement coming from a guy who's usually pretty balanced, but Cormier's logic is hard to argue with. He's looking at the grappling, he's looking at the sheer dominance Islam has shown against guys who are actually active. DC pointed out that Conor hasn't won a fight in years. He's coming off a devastating leg injury, and he's jumping in against a guy who's basically a bigger, stronger version of the man who already beat him. DC said, "We have to stop pretending that 2016 Conor is walking through that door. That guy is gone." He's worried that the UFC is just feeding Conor to the wolves for the sake of one last massive pay-per-view. And you can tell it pains him to say it, because he knows what Conor did for the sport. But as an analyst, he's not seeing a path to victory. He thinks the wrestling gap is so wide that Conor won't even be able to find his range before he's flat on his back getting mauled. It's a harsh reality check for the Mac Life fans who think the left hand is still the magic equalizer. According to DC, that left hand doesn't mean a thing if you're fighting for your life on the canvas. The tension is already through the roof. Islam's camp has been relatively quiet so far, but you know they're licking their chops. They want this fight. They want the McGregor payday, sure, but they want the scalp. They want to prove that the Dagestani style is the undisputed king of this era. On the other side, Conor is already firing back on social media. He's posting those classic training clips. He's looking big, he's looking fast. But is he looking Islam ready? That's the question we're all asking. We've seen Conor defy the odds before. We saw him dismantle Eddie Alvarez when people said he couldn't. We saw him knock out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. But this feels different.
This feels like the final boss of a video game that Conor hasn't played in 3 years. And then you've got the Dillon Danis of it all hovering over the whole weekend. It's such a weird contrast. On one hand, you have the biggest fight in history being booked, and on the other, you have a guy who was once part of that inner circle trying to tear the whole house down with a legal team. It's messy, it's loud, and it's exactly what MMA has become in 2024. We're seeing the sport evolve into this weird mix of elite competition and total legal warfare. Whether Danis wins his lawsuit or not, the damage is done. He's officially the persona non grata of the UFC. So, where do we go from here? The press conferences for McGregor versus Islam are going to be legendary, they're going to be toxic, and they're going to be must-watch TV. We're expecting record-breaking numbers, but we can't shake what DC said. Is he right? Is it a total mismatch? Or is Conor McGregor about to pull off the greatest comeback in the history of professional sports? One thing is for sure, we won't be looking away for a second. The stakes have never been higher, the drama has never been this thick, and the lawsuits are just the icing on a very chaotic cake. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of the buildup, and it's already more intense than we ever imagined. We're going to keep you updated on every single legal filing and every single sparring clip, because this is the MMA Zone, and we live for this madness.
We've got the biggest news in the history of this sport. And honestly, we're still shaking from the announcement. You didn't misread that title. It's actually happening. Conor McGregor is officially back, and he's not just taking a tune-up fight. He's going straight for the throat of the lightweight king, Islam Makhachev. Dana White just dropped the nuke we've all been waiting for, and the MMA world is currently in a state of absolute meltdown. But before we get into the breakdown of the most anticipated grudge match of the decade, we've got to talk about the massive legal bomb that just detonated behind the scenes. We're talking about Dillon Danis. And trust us, he didn't just stir the pot this time. He might have just blown up his entire career. We've been following the Dillon Danis saga for years, and most of us figured he'd just fade away into the world of Twitter trolling and influencer boxing. But it turns out, El Jefe has been busy in the shadows, and we've just uncovered the details of a massive, multi-million-dollar lawsuit he's filing against the UFC. It's messy, it's dramatic, and it's exactly what you'd expect from the man who's made a living out of being the sport's biggest villain. According to the documents we've seen, Danis is claiming that the UFC has been actively blackballing him from competing and essentially axed his professional fighting career before it could even get off the ground. Now, we know what you're thinking. Dillon hasn't even fought in the UFC, so how can he sue them? Well, it's all about the restraint of trade and some seriously shady behind-the-scenes dealings Danis claims were happening during his peak hype years. He's alleging that the UFC used their influence to block him from major cross-promotional deals, and that they fired back at him for his close ties to Conor McGregor during the height of the Khabib rivalry. Danis is going off on everyone, claiming he was promised a roster spot that never materialized because the brass wanted to punish Conor's inner circle. He's not stopping there, though. The lawsuit also alleges that the UFC's legal team put a stranglehold on his ability to fight for other organizations, basically keeping him on a ghost contract that didn't allow him to make a living. It's a bold move, but let's be real here. We've seen this before. Danis has a habit of shooting himself in the foot every time he gets close to a massive opportunity. Remember when he pulled out of the KSI fight at the last minute? Or the absolute circus surrounding the Logan Paul match? The UFC's defense is likely going to be that Dillon simply didn't show up when it mattered. But Danis is digging in his heels, claiming he's got the receipts to prove the UFC actively sabotaged his brand to keep him from becoming a megastar outside of their control. While Danis is fighting in the courtroom, his mentor, the Notorious One, is getting ready for the biggest test of his life. We didn't think we'd see the day, but Islam Makhachev has signed the dotted line. This isn't just a title fight, it's a legacy-defining war. Islam has been cleaning out the division, making it look easy, and he's been vocal about wanting to finish the job that Khabib started back at UFC 229. He's not just looking for a win, he wants to silence the McGregor era forever. And you know Conor, he's already went off on social media. He's posted and deleted about 20 times already, calling Islam a paper champion and promising to show the world that the double champ is still in the building. But we have to wonder, is this too much, too soon? Conor's been out for a long time. That leg snap against Dustin Poirier was no joke, and coming back against the pound-for-pound best wrestler in the game is the ultimate gamble. He's either going to pull off the greatest comeback in sports history, or he's walking into a buzzsaw. The heat is already at a boiling point. Dana White was asked about the Danis lawsuit during the press conference for the McGregor-Makhachev announcement, and let's just say, he didn't hold back. Dana basically told the media that Dillon is delusional and that he's never been a serious part of their plans.
He said Dillon's been shooting himself in the foot for years, and that the lawsuit is just a desperate cry for attention. It's a classic Dana blow-up, but it adds so much fuel to the fire because of how close Dillon is to Conor. We're hearing whispers from Conor's camp that he's taking this more seriously than anything we've seen since the Eddie Alvarez fight. He's isolated himself, he's back with his old coaches, and he's supposedly laser-focused. But is that enough to stop the Dagestani machine? Islam's wrestling is on another planet, and his striking has improved so much that he's actually knocking people out on the feet now. We saw what he did to Volkanovski. We saw how he handled Charles Oliveira. Islam is the ultimate nightmare matchup for a guy like Conor, who relies on timing and space. But back to the Danis situation for a second, because this lawsuit could actually change how UFC contracts work. If Dillon wins, and that's a massive if, it could open the floodgates for other fighters to sue over exclusivity and restraint of trade. It's the last thing the UFC wants while they're trying to promote the biggest fight of the decade. We've seen other fighters try to take on the machine before, but Dillon's doing it with a level of aggression that we haven't seen. He's claiming they axed his earnings to the tune of $10 million. $10 million? That's a lot of money for a guy who's mostly known for being a Twitter warrior lately. We can't help but feel like this is all connected. The chaos of the Danis lawsuit, the return of McGregor, the dominance of the Dagestanis. It's like the 2018 era is back with a vengeance. We're seeing the same intensity, the same trash talk, and the same high stakes. If Conor manages to beat Islam, it changes everything. It validates his entire career and puts him back at the top of the mountain. But if he loses, if Islam smothers him the way Khabib did, it's likely the end of the road for the biggest star we've ever seen. What do you guys think? Is Dillon Danis actually onto something with this lawsuit, or is he just trying to stay relevant while his buddy Conor takes all the headlines? And more importantly, who are you taking in the main event? Can McGregor find that left hand one more time, or is Islam Makhachev just too dominant to be stopped? We're leaning towards a war, but we've learned never to count out the notorious one when his back is against the wall. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to be tracking every single update on the Danis lawsuit and every bit of training footage coming out of McGregor's camp. This is the MMA Zone, and we're just getting started. It's going to be a wild ride to Fight Night. Stay tuned, because the drama is only getting started.